History is often seen as a long, slow march of progress, but sometimes, a single day, a single battle, can completely change the course of everything that follows. These are the turning points. The moments where destiny hangs in the balance, and the world is reshaped forever. Today, we're diving into some of the most pivotal battles that did just that. A small force of Greeks, led by 300 Spartans under King Leonidas, makes a stand at the narrow coastal pass of Thermopylae. It bought crucial time for the other Greek cities to organize their defenses. Weeks later, at the Battle of Salamis, the Athenian navy, though smaller, cleverly lured the bulky Persian fleet into the narrow straits and decimated it. It also solidified the power of the Franks, paving the way for his grandson, Charlemagne, to become the first Holy Roman Emperor. Harold Godwinson, an English earl, is crowned king, but he immediately faces invasions from both Harald Hardrada of Norway and William, Duke of Normandy. Harold marches his army north and defeats the Vikings at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. But just days later, he gets word that William has landed in the south. Harold force marches his exhausted army 250 miles back down the country. The two forces meet near a town called Hastings. The Battle of Hastings was an all-day affair, a grueling contest of shield walls and cavalry charges. The tide turned when King Harold was famously struck in the eye by an arrow and killed. The old Anglo-Saxon aristocracy was replaced by a French-speaking elite. The English language absorbed thousands of French words, and the entire political and social structure of the country was remade, linking England more closely with continental Europe than ever before. Let's journey to the New World, to 1781. The American Revolution has been raging for 6 long years. The Continental Army, led by George Washington, has struggled against the might of the British Empire. The final act of this epic drama takes place in a small Virginia port town, Yorktown. American and French forces, under Washington and Rochambeau, corner the British Army led by General Cornwallis. Crucially, the French fleet blockades the Chesapeake Bay, cutting off any chance of British reinforcements or escape by sea, trapped and under relentless siege. Cornwallis had no choice but to surrender his entire army. The news of the defeat at Yorktown sent shockwaves through London. The British Parliament, tired of the costly war, voted to end military operations in America. 2 years later, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially recognizing the United States as an independent nation. The Battle of Yorktown wasn't just a military victory, it was the birth of a new republic that would one day become a global superpower. Our next stop is on the vast, frozen plains of Russia in 1942. World War II is at its height, and Hitler's seemingly invincible war machine has pushed deep into the Soviet Union, reaching the city of Stalingrad. Hitler was obsessed with capturing the city that bore his rival Stalin's name. What followed was one of the bloodiest and most brutal battles in human history. The fighting was street to street, house to house, even room to room. The city was reduced to rubble. But the Soviet defenders refused to yield. As the brutal Russian winter set in, the Soviets launched a massive counter-offensive called Operation Uranus. They encircled the entire German Sixth Army, trapping nearly 300,000 soldiers. Starving and freezing, the Germans were forced to surrender in February 1943. The defeat at Stalingrad was a catastrophic blow to the German war effort. It shattered the myth of German invincibility and marked the beginning of the end for the Third Reich on the Eastern Front. From Stalingrad, the Red Army began its long, relentless push toward Berlin. Finally, let's consider a battle that didn't involve swords or guns, but ideologies and economies: the Cold War. While not a single battle in the traditional sense, its conclusion in 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall was a turning point of monumental proportions. For decades, the world had been divided between two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, locked in a tense standoff. The Berlin Wall was the most potent symbol of this division. When East German authorities unexpectedly announced that citizens could cross the border, thousands swarmed the wall. Guards were overwhelmed, and people began to tear it down with their bare hands, hammers, and chisels. This single event triggered a chain reaction across Eastern Europe. Communist regimes collapsed one after another, and within 2 years, the Soviet Union itself ceased to exist. The fall of the wall didn't just reunify a city, it ended a 45-year global conflict, redrew the map of Europe, and ushered in a new era of international politics. From the shores of ancient Greece to the streets of modern Berlin, these battles show us how history can pivot on a single moment. They are powerful reminders that the world we live in today was forged in the crucible of conflict, courage, and sacrifice. The outcomes of these struggles shaped our languages, our borders, our governments, and our very identities. What other battles do you think changed the world? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.